And welcome out, everyone, to Quebedeaux on a beautiful Sunday night. Opportunity to speak with the Lieutenant Governor a little bit earlier. Those of you that are watching live missed that, and I blame that on Billy. Yeah, why not? He's
not
right
here
there,
anymore.
So do that. Look, I'm so grateful that you folks see this part of the show and not what goes on right before the show starts, and you should be thankful as well. A little bit of a different crew with us today. Of course, Nathan Martin is here for the Pineville crew. He's to my right, replacing Mayor Dupree.
There is no replacing, but in the place of. How about that?
That's right, in the place of. To my left on your screen, as you see it there, who's moving the helmet right in front of his face, I think it was. Tom Boucher joins us. He is the voice of the Monarch Eagles. John Wolf was on here last week, did a great job. Of course, Billy. And I am Billy French, the voice of the Tioga Indians, who are, as we've heard 67 times tonight, that they are the only undefeated team.
That's right.
Among all of us out here. And we won't get into the only team who has yet to strike into the win column, but I am Doug Gann, the host of Astrogen Football, and excited to be here. Billy, we'll start off with you. You guys had a barn burner down there. I guess that might be a terrible choice of word in the middle of a drought and a burn ban, but you guys had a great ball game down in Breaux Bridge. Give us a little insight on that.
Yeah, went in there. Of course, we played them last year. Tioga was able to come away with the win last year, but a phenomenal team from Breaux Bridge come in a star-studded senior team for Breaux Bridge. They lost one starter from last year. Quarterback came back, and he delivered. Kind of a weird deal, though. It seemed like it was a tale of two tapes there, first half, second half. Tioga comes out the gate getting the ball. Case Malone marches down the field. Travis Adams scores a touchdown. First pass from Breaux Bridge. Max Cadmus intercepts it, runs it back for a touchdown. We kick the ball off. First pass again. Josh Lloyd intercepts at 57 yards. And then we had a strip, and then we score again by Travis Adams. So with maybe 8 minutes in the game time, roughly around that, we were up 28-0.
Goodness, yeah, that was that's an exciting start to it, but it didn't really finish that easy. You know, you get up 28-0 on somebody, you're coasting into there. But I remember as we were driving back from St. Thomas More that that thing was in doubt right there at the end until that big penalty.
Absolutely. So once we got up 28-0, we just left for a little while. And then by the time fourth quarter had come out, it was 28-28. They're marching down the field. A couple of we finally get a score. We missed the extra point, which is huge, so we're only up 6. And Breaux Bridge is marching down the field, fixing the score, back-to-back delay-of-game penalties. One was, from what we could understand, we tried to get an official deal here. One of the players threw the ball, and they called a delay-of-game, personal foul. 12 men as well, so that was an addition. Okay, I got you. Yeah, so it was back-to-back penalties that brought them back, and then Tioga makes a big stop on fourth down, and then from that point on, it's victory formation, but a huge, huge win from Tioga.
And clarification from Hey Chuck there, by the way.
Yes, Hey Chuck.
That's right. Look, he adds a lot to it. So for the first time this all season long, yes, this is show number 2, we're going to hear from Nathan Martin. And Nathan, I know you guys were not on the call. The hardest working man this weekend was Tom Boucher.
That's right.
As he goes up at last minute and covers the Buckeye game at St. Mary's there in Natchitoches. He did that one, and then simulcast the call between Menard and Pineville. But I know that you had some updates on there, Nathan, so give us your thoughts on that.
Mayor Dupree and myself were actually away at a spiritual retreat over the weekend, and I appreciate you as the founder allowing that flexibility and Tom covering the game. I guess he gets paid for 3 games or something like that.
No, we just get him one.
No, he gets paid a certain amount of weeks. So, yeah, I didn't mean to get in with that with you, buddy.
But, I did get to watch the replay.
My voice.
Yeah, I watched the replay of the entire contest, and listening to Tom and John give that kind of blowdown of how everything happened. I thought they did a good job of handling the game as equally as they could. Obviously, they're homers for Menard, right? But they were very respectful, and we really appreciate that. It was 2-0 going.
Did he say homers for Menard? Wow, that's tough. Yes, but you're right. Yes.
Well, graduate from Menard, right,
That's
Tom?
right.
In 1983, if I remember right.
That's right.
You have a 40-year graduation reunion coming up here this
October 27th.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, I'm 42.
40 also?
No,
Or
just 40. I'm
42?
that's my
Okay.
age.
Okay. Wow.
Well, back to Pineville and
Yes,
Menard.
thank
Sorry,
you,
buddy.
thank
That's
you.
great. It was 2-0 in the fourth quarter. I mean, you're talking about a battle of the defensive.
It was the ninth inning, Nathan.
Yeah, the bottom of the ninth, right? So 2-0, and really, I mean, halfway, well into the fourth quarter, and I mean, Menard does score, and they go up, kick the extra point. What? By the way, what do y'all feed those kickers over there? Because every kickoff just about into the end zone, field goals that could have been made from 45 yards out. That's some amazing kickers Menard has.
Yeah, well, Ryan Hicks has been the kicker for Menard for the last several years, and he's got a really strong leg. He's an excellent soccer player, also an excellent bowler.
Wow.
So, I think bowling is where the strength comes from.
Okay.
No, I'm just joking. He did have a 300 game in competition for the Holy Rollers,
No
the Menard
way.
Holy Rollers.
Tell me that's not the
You're
real
kidding
name
me
of their
about that
team.
name, right?
It is.
No,
No,
that is
great.
the name of their team.
That-
Look, it's
That-
Menard's bowling
that-
team. What do you expect?
That'll be the end of the episode, boys and girls. You appreciate
Good
That
night,
is
everybody.
That's
I'm
fantastic.
probably going to do a live simulcast from the bowling competition one time this year.
That would be
So,
great.
Yes,
I know a
don't-
company that'll do that for you.
I don't see. Yes, see how about that? 446 Sports probably just tune right in.
I
So,
like that plug. Go ahead.
and so we're going to get into cool plays. We're going to get into our player of the week because Quebedeaux sponsors our, as you see back there, up there, sponsors our player of the week. And at the end of the year, each team will name their player of the year. And so we have 5 players and their families come in here and have an end of the year banquet, and we'll name our Quebedeaux player of the year. So we're excited about that. We've got a small little scholarship for that player, but perhaps help him on into the future. Just things that we do to give back to the community, but that the community that has been so good to us through the year. But before we get to Tom, speaking of community, this community on the north side of the river is going to be wound up all week long, as I think
Oh,
there's a
my
little
goodness.
tussle coming up. So let's get over to that one real quick, and I want to get both your thoughts on that one. As much as I hate to do this, we're going to start with Billy.
I'm excited. Of course, I have so much respect for Nathan and Rich, but and,
Where's the game at this
and
week?
the game is at the reservation here
Okay.
in Tioga. Of course, Rich not being able to be here tonight, I think was partially planned because I told him I was going to razz him a good bit last week because it's always fun when Tioga plays Pineville. And of course, I told him to make sure that we'll have some food for them. We'll make sure that they're covered. We don't want them out in the elements.
We do have a question that came in from our watchers out there tonight. Will they be able to come in the press box? Or are
Will they?
Yeah, they.
Us.
Yeah. Yes.
They.
It depends on whether they want a good view or not.
Well, where that question comes from, Billy, is 2 years ago.
Oh, I know. I was there.
Billy
I
was
just want to
there.
remind you.
Now,
I just want to remind
Mayor
you.
Dupree had to sit up top.
And
But
Councilman
I'm the one
Martin.
that went and got the table
On
for
top
him. He
of the
didn't
press
have to
box?
go on the
On
top.
top.
Yeah,
Who-
that was before
who
the
carried
new press
the
box
table
came
at
in.
the top
That
of
would be Billy French carried that
I
for
don't
the
remember
future
that.
mayor. I do.
Okay.
I was sweating. My hair was a disaster. The entire game, the entire show, my hair was messed up because I had to carry that table up.
Well, they had to pray, while they were up there on the roof. I mean, that press box wasn't in the best
That
of
was
shape.
the old press
That was
box.
the old
Yes,
press, but we
yes.
have the new press box now.
And
So-
look, I've had the opportunity to broadcast for 446 Sports the Tioga playoff game last year that you called, and I got to provide the video for it. And that new press box is very nice.
Yes, sir.
Very, very
We
nice.
are very blessed. There's no doubt. You will have covered. Yes, sir. We will have you squared away. I promise you that. I've already made a call to make sure y'all got a good plate of food coming for you guys. I'm not going to say what it is, but we'll see. But no, it'll be a fun night here.
Beans
we'll
and
make sure
rice.
Somebody gonna be eating crow after the game's over. Is all that I know out of
right.
all of this that's going on.
Well, I will tell you this, Tom, you have to admit Pineville took care of you in the press box, right?
Yeah, they certainly did. The food there, and we gave props
Sure did.
to Richie Martin of Martin Meats. They
David.
brought a great slew of food, and then David Morrow
That's right.
brought up some food for John and me, and for the some of the other crew. I think
Right.
Robert and Landon as well.
Yeah,
So
David
I'm
Morrow
very
takes
grateful.
care. He's a former Rebel general, just a quarterback par excellence, and huge supporter. He always takes care of the broadcast team, he and his wife, and then the Martin Meats folks. They do such a good job of taking care of everybody, and we have to give them shout outs because they do a great job. So, what are you going to have in the on the
We're going to
plate
have
for
some good stuff. I have some stuff planned for you. How about we'll just say that?
That sounds a little
That's
scary.
just-
I got to tell
you
you.
take it as how you're going to get it, but no, it'll be fun. Our quarterback club's going to be taking care of that, and we got y'all squared away. So it should be a fun night.
Speaking of sending props out real quick before we get to y'all's pick of the game Friday night, and that's coming up as well. Big shout out to the folks at Polos and Plaids. Michelle does a great job of outfitting us for these games. You can see it there. Polos and Plaids in Alexandria off of Jackson Street Extension next to the Papa John's, that little shopping center that's over there to the left of Papa John's. Make sure that you go in there and tell Michelle that we said hey. So go in there and do that. So, Billy, your pick on Friday night.
34-17.
I didn't know we were doing scores. But
I'm doing it. I go big or I go home. It's 34-17 Tioga.
Ooh, okay, there you go.
Nathan, what do you have?
Well, obviously, we believe Pineville's going to win, and now we're going to be a head-to-head 2-1. Both teams will be 2-1 going out of that next week. And I hadn't given a whole lot of thought to the score. I do think it's going to be a little bit more defensive than that. So I'll say Pineville 21-17.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you have it.
I think that's a lot of points.
Are you going to wait? You don't think you're going to weigh in on that?
It was 2-0 going into the
It was a
fourth
defense-
quarter
it was a
this past
defensive-
week.
It
Yeah.
wasn't on our end.
Yeah. So,
So you had a little bit of the Menard game, and you had Buckeye. Kind of give us your thoughts on what happened there this week for Buckeye and Menard.
on
Start
two
with
separate occasions.
Yeah, start with Buckeye. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so Buckeye up in Natchitoches.
Right.
They were taking on St. Mary's, the Tigers, and St. Mary's just wore them down basically. It was 7-6 at one point in the first quarter.
Right.
So, St. Mary's added another touchdown and took a 14-6 lead, and then from there it was 27 unanswered points. Are actually 30 unanswered points, and then Buckeye put a score on when the two second teams were playing against each other, and they got a touchdown. So, with that final being 31-12, something like that.
And Burlew got another touchdown, I believe, out of that game. Is that right? Didn't he have a rushing touchdown in that game?
Had the touchdown in the first half, and then the second team got in there.
Gotcha. So that gives him
touchdown.
6 touchdowns on the season. I think he had 5 in week 1 and one more.
I tell you, I'm really impressed with Burlew, and they played tough,
Right.
in the very beginning, and defensively. They just don't have enough players,
Right.
And Menard sometimes runs into that problem a little bit if they're wearing out. But that game, now that they played tough, and it was a defensive struggle for sure. The yardage totals were very minimal in that game, and it was a snapped punt that went over the head of the punter,
Right.
And they tackled him in the end zone for the 2 points, and that occurred on the second possession that Pineville had, and then from there we went all the way as Nathan said, all the way into the fourth quarter, and 21 points were put on the board, and it was 9-6, and then Pineville opened it up and actually went to the air, and I think it kind of stunned Menard there for a while. They had some big gash plays, in the passing game, and it was about a 20-yard pass, I guess 15-yard pass into the end zone, but the throw was from a lot farther back,
Right.
And it was great defense over the head of the defender, great catch,
Three
in
defenders
the
there
end
in the
zone.
circle. That's right.
Yeah, and that cut the lead 9-7, and they actually stopped Menard on the next drive, and when they punted the ball back, it was Cooper Scott ripping the ball out of the hands of the running back and taking it back 60 yards for the score, and that was a difference in the game.
Well, and
16-7.
hadn't he been injured the previous play and
Well,
going out, or a couple plays before?
It was he was injured carrying the football. He was tackled, and then they punted the ball away, and he walked off holding his shoulder, and we thought, oh no, this is going to be tough because we lost Drake Aldridge early in the game, who was kicked out of the game.
And he was your week 1 player of the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And had a great picture of him in the show too.
He was with your helmet. That's right.
Yeah. I was going to say, you see, I'm here at the show and I have a helmet.
Right.
John was at the show and he didn't have one.
Now, so here now, but now
He's
I'm
throwing his own guy under the bus.
that's what I was just
telling
saying.
you.
I went to their show on Wednesday night over there and walked up and he says, and Doug threw me under the bus on the show, and now he's chunking his own dude
Man.
under there. John, I know.
Make
John,
sure
I
you
know
go
you're
see
listening.
Tom Boucher
John?
for all your real estate needs.
John is watching,
Sure
I'm
he
sure.
is.
So I had to do that for him, because
Wow. Way to.
I needed somebody under the bus with me.
That's the way to kind of smooth that over for you, John.
John's
you
a
can
great
reach him
guy.
at 452 Tom. That's the way to get him. So the Alexandria side of it.
Tell us a little thing about Ash football, buddy.
Ash down 0-2
What's
this
that?
season,
Oh, yeah.
And they played Karen Crow, who made the semifinals in
Is that
5A
an-
last year.
is that an
at
O in the
St.
win
Thomas
column?
More. It absolutely is, but I guarantee you, I'd put strength of schedule up, gentlemen, against any of that. It's two juggernauts that they've done, and started cutting up the highlights. And Sam Altman, the senior quarterback for St. Thomas More, is absolutely the real deal. Landon Strother, who plays his wideout on there, they're all-state 5A running back. Hutch Swilly didn't play in the game. Didn't matter. 138 guys on their roster and dress. So you think
goodness.
teams have trouble finding people? They don't at St. Thomas More. It is a factory down there, but the folks are wonderful. They know what good football is, and they know what a program is. We walked up, and there was a tailgate party right before you get into the gate. They brought us in and offered, and we had meat pies and some sort of, I don't know if it was duck pasta or whatever it was. Anyway, it was really good, and the hospitality was great. And then we kicked off, and well, it kind of downhill from there as things went on. Just played two juggernauts. Finally at home. That game was supposed to be at Alexandria last Friday night, but the turf was not ready. The turf's completed today, and they'll be able to make their first practice on it before they welcome in Natchitoches Central on Friday night. Jess Curtis and that group will make their way up there. So the Trojans will look to see if they're able to get into the win column.
There's not going to be anybody left in Natchitoches.
No, because St. Mary's will be down
St.
here.
Mary's will
That's
be
exactly
here
right.
at Menard.
Where's
as, we
Northwestern
get them.
playing? Where's Northwestern
I'm not
that
sure.
weekend? Maybe they're, who knows?
At LC?
It'd be great if they did. LC goes to
everybody
2-0
said,
on the way.
Oh, my
yeah.
goodness, yeah.
So
8-0 for LC, right?
8 wins straight.
LCU.
Yeah, 8 longest win streak in Louisiana, and they'll tell you that too.
Yeah,
but
they
Coach
earned
Drew
it,
Maddox and that group, well done on what they did.
Absolutely.
Retained the border claw in week 1, and then followed that up with a victory. Chuck, he looked stressed out over there. We're able to take a break.
Not quite yet.
Is that? I don't know what that means.
That means 1 minute.
Yeah.
1 minute until we take a break. Or no, we can, or you need 1 minute. Okay, hold on to that. We're going to take a break before. We don't work in charades either. It doesn't
not
work.
good at it.
We'll finish that thought up. We're going to take a break. We're live from Quebedeaux on a beautiful Sunday evening. Got a chance to talk to Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. That was great, and just a great night of talking football. Don't go anywhere. We have a lot of show remaining, including naming our Southern Air Cool Plays of the game, our Quebedeaux Players of the Week, and a whole lot more when we come back to Coach Speak on 446 Sports.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our mobile app today.
Everybody dancing all night long. Everybody dancing all night long. Everybody dancing all night long. Somebody's dancing to my song.
And we are back to Quebedeaux on our Sunday night edition of Coach Speak, a little bit of a late edition, kind of the revolving door edition. Last week we were there at 5 o'clock. This week it was 7. Next week we'll be there at o'clock. So, Nathan, you had a thought prior to the break.
Yeah, but the break went so long, I forgot what it was. No, it was back on LCU, top 25 ranking, well-deserved, honestly. It brings a lot of attention to that program that, Coach Maddox has. And as a former LCU player, I know that there's a lot of pride there. I think they still have maybe a couple of 5-year players from the COVID stuff that they're getting to stick around. And I just think that program is kind of an unsung story in Louisiana because I don't see other press picking up on that.
No, not at all.
I wish they would. I'm glad that here
he's done a lot over there in a short amount of time of getting that thing turned around for sure.
If there's anyone, and it's a cliche, but oftentimes these players want to play for a coach that would go through, or they'll go through a wall for their coach. That's the attitude over there with Drew Maddox and that group. These players take on the same mentality and mindset that he has, and it is full speed ahead at every turn.
Yes, absolutely. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the whole Deion Sanders phase right now, where his players have buy in so quickly, and this changes that team went last year. I don't even think they won a game at Colorado. They come in and they beat the team that's in the national title the year before handedly, and then turn around and really put it to Nebraska this week. So when you got a coach that can inspire these young men into buying into the program, great things happen everywhere you go.
And there's 85 new players on that team. I think there's only 5 or 6 that stayed around. So you're right, they're buying in.
He's never been one to shy away from a soundbite or a microphone. No. When he gets there, he says, "Look, some of y'all might be wanting to hit the portal. You might be wanting to look at the portal."
Oh, yeah, that initial meeting was crazy, man. That's
and now
but he got a lot of flack, from that, and obviously he's held on to the receipts, because he's let people know about it. But to me, I think that's the way a coach should handle it. He just flat out told them, there's a lot of y'all aren't going to be here.
Yeah.
Who wants to be here? And it was a lot of it was their choice.
Yeah. There's not one person that ever goes, "I wonder what Coach Prime is thinking."
Right. Oh, yeah. But he held himself accountable. That's one thing, because I've been able to be around it. Of course, my son played at Southern, and he was at Jackson State. My son actually has conversations with Deion a lot. And, especially on the field, when Jalen would make a tackle, he'd be on the Jackson State sideline, and he'd just start rattling. Jalen would start talking to Deion. Deion would be talking right back. But he holds himself accountable, But he made a comment the other day where he said, if we're up 21 and you score a touchdown, go ahead and do a little dance, do something like that, get a flag. It's worth it. But he's making it fun, Now, I don't think you want that to happen if you're down a couple scores and you're trying to, give up something. But he makes football fun again, and these young men are just buying into it, and they make it personal. They take, if they're losing, they don't want to lose for Coach Prime.
Indeed, they do. Chuck, looks like are we able to get into our players of the week? Hang on, he says. So anyway,
he's going to do one thing at a time.
Well, yeah, but last time when we were talking about the commercial, he gave me that same 1 minute
one finger?
when it was time to go to the commercial. So I've been away from him for a couple of weeks, and now we don't have the jive anymore. So Tim,
the chemistry is
right,
gone already.
It's gone just
We
like
have
that.
He's lost that love.
We got it.
So Pineville Tioga, they're playing next week. Ashwell comes in, Natchitoches Central, and you get a familiar foe in St. Mary's coming to town.
St. Mary's coming to town for the Bishop's Bowl.
Okay.
It's something that JC started, and I really like the idea, and that is kind of putting all the Catholic a Catholic league, so to speak. Unofficial, but playing all the Catholic teams, and especially those within the same diocese of Alexandria. So, that's why you're seeing St. Fred's that we opened up with, which is a solid football team. St. Mary's looks good too. And Nathan was talking about, the strength of the leg of our kicker, Ryan Hicks. Yes, he is a threat, and he can make, a 50-yard field goal. And they're not afraid to put him out there at 40 to 50 yards. And the beauty about it is they know if he misses, it's going in the end zone anyway, and they're taking it out on the 20. So it's a great punt. Right. So that's a weapon to have. St. Mary's brings in Payne Williams, who's also a left-footed kicker. and he had an excellent night against Buckeye, and he can kick that ball a great distance. Also, Ryan Hicks is a punter too, so
Right.
He's got a strong leg. But St. Mary's will come in. We got Sacred Heart,
Y'all
on the
have a name
schedule
for that game as well? Because I want to know
No.
who's coming up with all these names, Tom. These are phenomenals. Your bowling team is called the Holy Rollers.
And the Bishop
and
Bowl.
the Bishop Bowl. Whoever's coming up with we need to trademark some of
Well,
this stuff.
I think you've got the
You
Bishop.
can't trademark other people's stuff,
We're gonna
Billy.
do
I think you've got the
Brought to you by
Bishops,
442.
Bishops Bowl because Natchitoches and Alexandria are in the same diocese of Alexandria. So St. Fred's is in a different diocese, and then you've got Opelousas Catholic and Sacred Heart, who are out of the Lafayette diocese.
Gotcha.
So that's why they named it the Bishops Bowl,
That's
because
just
those are the
awesome.
two teams.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Circling back around to your kicker, he missed one field goal there at the Pineville game, but he missed it. He must have hit the post at the top.
Yep.
I mean, he could have, had it been 6 inches to the left, that would have been good from 45 yards.
Yeah.
Easy. I mean, what? He just blew. Pineville used to have some kickers back in the day, and you missed that because that brings a whole new element to your game.
Well, it does because, Ash had it for several years. They had a run of kickers that the ball would go into the end zone 95% of the time, and there's
Soccer
zero
styles.
run back. So, yeah, they go get them off the soccer field for that. And I spoke to Nick Magnano, who does the booth with me, and he said, yeah, these soccer players, it's just the only bad thing is the football coaches are teaching them to kick it high and far, and the soccer coaches, it's low and keep it down, so they have to adjust to that. But there are several of these soccer players that are coming over and playing football that are going on to play in college because of kicking the football.
Yeah.
Well, and it's nice too because Menard had a record year last year. I mean, they made history with their soccer team by making it to the championship game. They had never done that before, and Ryan being a part of the team
Right.
and a couple others, bringing a winning attitude in, and of course with David, it was great to see David get his first victory. Of his head coaching,
Was it
career.
great, Nathan?
Well, let me say this.
I'm glad you agree.
If I agree from the perspective of I know the kinship that you guys have and the bond that you have and being in the booth together. And I actually, as much as I hated losing that game, I enjoyed your celebration of him and your conversation with him afterwards. I thought that was excellent broadcasting. And, it's the heartbeat behind what I think 446 Sports is. It's just real. This isn't some, I don't mean it's not super polished. It is. Chuck is a phenomenal producer, but this is not going for glitter over substance. That was great local substance. I thought that was phenomenal.
well, good. Thank
That's a knock that a lot of times that high school announcers get is that it's just loud and screaming and no attention is paid to detail and any of that. And that's one of the things that all of these crews have developed, that is that do try to deliver just a little bit like we do on this show with a little bit of insight. You told us that game is over at Pineville. That game's been going on for, all the way back, for years. Nathan, I know that you've had some experience with that rivalry for a long, long time. Tell me what it means from the Pineville side of it.
You're talking about the Tioga-Pineville rivalry.
Yes,
I
yes.
remember in probably 1982, either 81 or 82, Pineville beat
You remember that, Billy?
Tioga.
I was born in 82. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Nathan. You go ahead, Brother Nathan.
Pineville beat Tioga 21-7, and I think the backside of every stop sign on the north side of the river had 21-7 spray painted on the back of the stop sign. We remember when, Tioga came and stole our cannon and rolled it into the Red River.
Allegedly.
I remember marching on the Pineville High School field when the letters THS, somehow somebody with a gas can had spelled out those letters on the field.
Allegedly, once again.
As a band member marching across those burned out, where the grass wouldn't grow again. But I also remember there was some graffiti, allegedly some graffiti at Tioga High School, allegedly. And I don't want to go to the bad side of things. There is, certainly these two communities are extremely proud. I have a daughter that goes to Tioga High School and a son that goes to Tioga Junior High. Their pride is great. And then when I walk over there wearing my Pineville shirt, kind of like, all right, guys, walking into the Lion's Den. those programs should have that kind of pride and that kind of feeling. Tioga has had a great run. Coach Cook has done a phenomenal job. We were super happy to get Bryant Bell from that program, knowing that what he's going to bring is going to bring the winning caliber and mindset. And for him to get that first win of the season last week and begin something really good for Pineville High School. We're looking forward to the future. But we understand we're still rebuilding, and I think Tioga is kind of reloading. We respect that, but we're still going to come in and fight with everything we got Friday night.
Well, it looks for a good one. Billy, that Tioga side of it, you and I both pretty familiar with that as a Tioga grad way back in the day that I was around that alleged Cannon time. Just the Tioga side of it, Billy.
Billy doesn't remember any of that.
He
was just one.
I was after that. But, as far as, when I went to Tioga, it was a big rival. Of course, back in that day, Pineville was still 4A, so there was a lot.
Yes.
The rivalry has kind of died down a little bit just because not so much, it's just, when y'all move up to 5A and 4A, we played a few times. We had a couple seasons where we had we didn't play each other. But, of course, nowadays, and from my point of view, of course, and you had brought up Coach Bell, Coach Bryant Bell was my son's defensive coordinator. My son never played defense a day in his life till Bell took over there. Turned him around, put him on the defensive side. That first year, my son had 11 offers on defense.
Wow.
And that's because of Coach Bell, Coach Davis, who's no longer at Tioga, and Coach Kevin Cook. Yeah. That I have the utmost respect for Bryant Bell. I love that man. That he is a phenomenal coach. So I'm pulling for y'all every week except for this particular week. Yeah. But we at Tioga, of course, we have reloaded. We got a few, things, but we have some phenomenal skill players this year. We have had 3 games, including the Jamboree. We've had 3 starters, 3 different running backs. First game was Zito in Jamboree, lit it up, scored multiple touchdowns. He got hurt. He couldn't play week 1. We had Kenny Ponche come in and just dominate week 1 at Bolton. And then Ponche didn't hardly even see the field last week. Travis Adams comes in, and he has 95 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns.
Goodness
and
gracious.
Not to mention Case Malone, our quarterback, he ran for over 60-something yards. We've had a kind of a feeling so that the Tioga Pineville side, it's still a rivalry there, but I think it's more for the people in the stands than it's for the kids on the field.
Because they're the ones that remember those
right.
times. And the kids that are out there now, they're just happy to be playing. What we're going to do now is we sit on Sunday nights in Quebedeaux, and Tuesday nights come out and join Billy and Chuck and Coach Kevin Cook for the Reservation Roundup that is here. That show begins at 7 p.m. right here. Got a special menu for anybody that comes in Tioga Indian gear.
Yes.
They're going to get to eat off of that special menu. So make
Please
sure
come out.
they came out and did that. So come out. It's a wonderful time. I think you guys have some plans to have some other support staff there, band and different things.
Yeah,
like
we'll have
that.
the band come in. The cheerleaders will come in. The quarterback club is phenomenal about getting all this set up, and it should be a huge packed house. A heavy set. Oh, so the big fellas are coming in. It's going to be the
hog mollies.
Yeah,
right?
get ready to feed some big old fellas now.
But what Quebedeaux does is they sponsor our Player of the Week. And right now, guys, if you'd like, let's announce our Players of the Week for this week. And we'll start with Ash, since I don't know if you guys were ready for it, and I was able to prepare for it because I knew what was coming. But young man has just been on fire. You see him on your screen there. That is JT Lindsay. All JT did was go 24 carries, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns, caught a couple of passes as well, 2 catches for 14 yards. Last week, a lot of us had our Player of the Week in the Cool Play of the Week. Didn't happen this time. But JT Lindsay is our Alexandria Senior High School Quebedeaux Cajun Cafe Player of the Week. And a big shout-out to Brett McCormick, of course, for supplying the stats. He goes back and watches this, writes his articles onto there, and then supplies us with those, and it just helps us do that. So we'll do this. And, again, at the end of each year, we'll name our Player of the Year from Ash, Pineville, Tioga, Buckeye, Menard, and those gentlemen will come in and we will have our Player of the Year. So we're excited about that. Let's move to my left and talk about the Menard. Since you've got 2 of them tonight, you get the Menard and the Buckeye Players of the Game, I believe. Or do we have a Buckeye Player of the Game?
Well,
we'll get, you could talk about that, and we'll work that out. But let us know from Menard's side of it first.
Yeah, so on the Menard side, we have Braylon Dusang, and Chuck was able to go in and grab the photo. that
Much
I
like
pulled
he's grabbing
out.
that quarterback.
You know, that is very representative of what Braylon did all night long. Not only getting after the quarterback, but stuffing the lineman,
Right.
and clogging it up. Of course, he had a lot of help, out there with the other guys, but he was in that backfield and he was stuffing the run, and an integral part of the reason why it was 2-0 going into the fourth quarter,
Well,
or the
Braylon-
ninth inning. Either way you want to look
Either
at it.
way, yeah, a couple of runners on, a dink and a dunk, and that thing could have been tied.
But again, and a funny story. We're not supposed to announce it during the show, right? During the game,
It's supposed to be here.
it's supposed to be here,
Right,
and
however.
making the announcement. And so I turned to John, and we're doing the cool play of the game, and I was like, "So who's the cool player of the game?" and John says, and he says Braylon's name, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, we're supposed to wait for Quebedeaux on that. It might not be him." Yeah, it is him.
Just like that. Yeah, you can't. You get to get a quote from our dear friend. You can't put the toothpaste back in.
It was my fault.
So
Yeah.
anyway, but congratulations, Braylon Dusang. Got a chance to talk to his dad out at the show on Wednesday nights, and again, we told you about the Tioga show Wednesday nights at 7
night.
p.m. You can catch it's at 7, right?
7 p.m. Yeah,
At
at
Wildwood.
Wildwood Pizza.
Yep.
Yeah. Our thanks to Garrett Perkins and Gary Perkins and the folks out there, the staff at Wildwood Pizza. I think they're enjoying having us out there. That 7 to 8 o'clock hour, we're bringing a great crowd in for them, and grateful to all the parents and the students and all that are coming out. I've got 2 interns working with me from LSUA that have come out. And they've got some things that they're going to be doing interviews for us at Wildwood, and we'll do that live so they can get some experience. And then they'll put a little story together for halftime. And
There you go.
we're starting to let them run our halftime. Nathan, you probably saw that.
I watched that, and I thought, brilliant move of a broadcaster to be able to actually go get a break during halftime.
Yeah.
So,
I was eating a pork chop from Martin Meats while they were doing that.
brilliant move.
We run a lot of commercials. Buckeye side of it, what do you have from Buckeye?
So Buckeye, Jim Burlew, number 34, could be the player of the game every week, but it's
Confused.
You messed up the graphics.
I did that. I'm like, hey, what's up, Chuck? Go ahead, throw the graphic back up, because it's really number 1, Jesse Standley, that we went with in that game.
They get their pictures from y'all?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, so I'm gonna throw Scott under the bus on this one.
Thank you.
So I finished the game, and I know that I've got Menard Friday, and we're going to cover the LSU game on Saturday.
Yes.
So I text Scott, and I'm like, hey, look, I just finished the game. I know you're going to go back and watch it because you need to pick a cool play of the game, and you need to pick the Quebedeaux player of the game. So go ahead and do that, and just send all that stuff to Chuck. And so Scott's in Alaska.
That's right. He flew out Saturday.
Look, when I saw his post that he was in Alaska, I was like, uh-oh. So I went to work. But I didn't have time to be able to pull up a shot of the football from the game. But
I envision a week where we have everyone's picture on there. That's
at
what,
some point.
yes.
One day.
But
It
Jesse
could happen.
Stanley gave Burlew a break running the ball as a receiver, a great little player, fast, and he made an impact in that game, even though the outcome of the game was 44-12. He actually, I think, was the one who scored that game. Scored the touchdown in the 4th.
Nathan, you
Yes,
went
sir.
back and watched your
did.
guys' player of the game.
Well, first of all, again, great job, Tom and John, and bringing that game. I lean on Robert Anderson, part of our crew. He's our sideline guy sitting out here tonight with us, and leaned on Robert. I totally agreed with this decision. In my head, it was made, but because he was there and watched the entire game from the field perspective, and we totally agree that the player of the game for Pineville High School is none other than Mr. Receiver Landon Roberts, who had 3 receptions for 57 yards and that touchdown, which was really an acrobatic catch. But just before that, he had another catch that extended that series, and those plays are what fired up Pineville and put Big Mo, as we call him, momentum on Pineville's side until that strip and score the other way. But for us, Landon Grimes, and I have to mention, I had sent Tom some show notes or some game notes ahead of time, and I told him, we got a good quarterback with a great arm, but he just doesn't really have the receiving crew. And last week, I think he had zero completions in the first week in that victory over Winsboro. So last night, he actually, or Friday night, I said Friday, not last night, Friday night, actually 8 of 14 for 104 yards. Very respectable for a guy who's just developing his energy and synchronicity with the synchronicity, whatever word you want to use there, with the receiving core. And Landon Roberts did a great job. Landon Grimes also did some yeoman's work, but Landon Roberts ends up being our player of the game.
I like that picture up there, though. That's he looks big swole up, man.
Right.
And look, just to kind of add to that, Nathan, that 85-yard touchdown drive is what that was, because they had the ball at the 15-yard line, and they did it through the air.
That was stunning.
And it was Landon Roberts on 2 of those passes, and the last one being an over-the-shoulder catch at the back of the end zone.
With
so he had to keep his feet
defenders
in bounds, and so I agree with that. I left it up to Landon and Robert Anderson, as they were the ones covering the Pineville side, and we tried to use Landon's shots from your camera.
Right.
Thanks for letting them have that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I do agree with that. But I can tell you that they caught Menard off guard a little bit with the passing game, because and having conversations with the coaches, they knew it was going to be a running game, and Thomas Scully and David, probably Scully all the way putting that game plan together to stuff the run. And Menard's defense did that. And so to have it go through the air and get that touchdown and make it 9-7, the crowd was going nuts. We were showing, the crowd, video and all that. And then they held Pineville, and we had to punt. And then the strip and 60-yard return for a touch.
Right.
It really caught them. The Cooper Scott made one heck of a move after stripping the ball. He had one guy to beat, and he just whoop, and the guy ran right by him, and then he was just trotting all the way in
to beat.
He only had one. He only had 11 guys
to beat. He had one guy. So your games have ended theoretically ended the last 2 weeks. You guys kind of sealed yours with the old snatch and score.
That's right.
And then here it was this week as well.
Snatch and score the other way.
Right,
returned the
back.
favor.
Wow, interesting football.
Yeah, it really is. It's interesting also, though, we have so many Landons. We have Landon Grimes, we have Landon Roberts, we have Landon Anderson, and then we have Robert and Landon Anderson, and my son's name is Anderson. And so there's no confusion for us out there at all with all the Landons and the Andersons.
brother
It's
Daryl and my other
Calisian.
Yeah.
Landon
That's right.
Calisian.
I do. Look, you guys, I know that Robert and Landon have been with y'all for a couple of years
Right.
on the 2. Great work
Yes.
out of that Pineville crew, and that's why we were delighted to have you guys as part of the 446 team and family. So Robert and Landon, certainly well done on what you guys do. That'll bring us over to the reservation roundup. Not to give that away, it comes up Tuesday night right here. But let us know about Tioga's Quebedeaux's player of the game.
Yeah, for Tioga, of course, I mentioned it earlier. First time stepping on the field all season. Travis Adams comes in there, and he has 16 carries, 95 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Mr. Adams just had a day. Just was super patient. It was fun to watch. If you get a chance to go back and watch this game, it was really, really fun. Just a high. I had so many people to choose from. Chuck and I were talking after the game. We're like, who do we pick? And then it came. It was no doubt. It had to be Travis the way he did. But it reminded me a lot. And those football fans, you ain't got to be a Steelers fan or anything. But Le'Veon Bell, when he played in the NFL, it was a lot of hold on to the back of the lineman's jersey, find the seam, and hit it. And that's exactly what Travis Adams did all night long. And he fell forward every time, and he carried that offense for Tioga. We threw the ball 7 times all night. We didn't really need to throw.
Right.
And it was just a run game. It was a clinic that the offensive line for Tioga, again, we're not the biggest fellas, but, man, we're pretty strong. And they were making big seams and just down the field blocking. It was a phenomenal effort by Travis Adams. That is our Quebedeaux's player of the game.
There you have it. We're going to get into our Southern Air cool Southern Air Heating and Cooling, cool play of the game. We're going to do that. We're going to take our first commercial break, or our last commercial break. One of these commercial breaks, we're going to take it nonetheless. We'll be right back. We'll get into our Southern Air Heating and Cooling, cool play of the game. We'll look at the standings, where our teams stand in the rankings if we have to. We'll look at the schedules for next week as well, again, in chalkboard form as we go to the chalkboard. We'll do all of that when we come back. You're watching Coach Speak live from Quebedeaux here on a beautiful Sunday evening on 446 Sports.
Is your vision just not as crisp and clear as it used to be? Are you having difficulty driving, especially at night? Are you over 40 and now needing reading glasses? If so, the trusted eye care team at Wallace Eye Associates is here to help with your family's eye care needs, just like we have been for nearly 40 years. Call Wallace Eye Associates today at 318-448-4488 to schedule your next eye evaluation.
Everybody dancing all night long. Everybody dancing all night long. Everybody dancing all night long. Somebody's dancing to my song.
Time for a red, white, and cool summer event at Southern Air Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Right now, you can save on a new energy saving system. No money down, 0% interest, and no payments till June 2024. Call Southern Air Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing or visit us online.
And we apologize for all that rumbling around on the
You're welcome.
microphones. That's right. We are back to Quebedeaux. Of course, our man Scott Mills, who does Buckeye football for us, is in Alaska this week, but lives in Texarkana. So goes in Texarkana during the week. He works here, so we're grateful that he's able to come in most of the time and call the games.
Yes.
On
Most of the
those. He's got the helmet with him. But, our Buckeye folks, we love being a part of that. Coach Ben McLaughlin and that group do just a wonderful job. So now, something new that we've done this season, it is our Southern Air Heating and Cooling.
I was waiting on you to say it.
Go
buddy.
ahead.
You had. I was letting you-
cool play of
There
the
it
game.
is.
There it is.
So it's got to, Nathan, that's what you have to do.
I
It's
heard
gotta
it.
be the
I was
cool
prepared. I'm
play of the
loaded.
game. In week one, I guess I didn't maybe put as much thought into it, but the one-handed catch from Mingo, it had to be the cool play of the game, and he was a player, so it just happened. But this week it was a little different. So I looked inside, and I said to myself, come up with something a little bit different. Ash never throws to their tight ends. Never throws to their tight ends. This time they go to the distance to number 85, Tanner Townsend on that, and that is our Southern Air cool play of the game for Ash. Chuck, go ahead and hit that one. Ash. It's the one that says Ash. I'm going to be
You are
in a
so
lot
much
of
in
trouble.
trouble.
Is Ash cool play of the
Cool,
game?
yes.
Cool.
Good with him. Fakes the handoff.
it's there.
Lindsey
It's
wide
there.
open, and that's the tight end down the middle. Down.
Yeah, that's the one.
Touchdown,
That's Tanner
Trojan.
Townsend. And
Touchdown,
that seam was
Tanner
there
Townsend.
For Townsend, and again, the last, I think, touchdown pass was a kid to a kid that's playing for Stanford. Now
I was gonna ask
was
that,
Shield
yeah.
Taylor. Yeah, it was the last one I think that caught a touchdown pass. But congratulations to Tanner Townsend and Ty Feaster. They hooked up for our Southern Air Heating and Cooling cool play of the game from the Menard side of it.
You know, it's amazing. I'm having a senior moment.
Uh-oh.
But no,
He's not that old.
the reason why I'm having a senior moment is because I was thinking about Buckeye. You know, that we had a Buckeye cool play of the game. It was
Okay.
Caden Grimmett,
Okay.
who was the backup quarterback, number 9, who fielded a snap that was low on the ground. He scooped it up, and they had him in sight to sack him, and he got out of that, and then made the edge and picked up about 15, almost 20 yards for a first down. So we'll have that out there, on YouTube and all that.
Yeah, we
But
put
now-
it on the individual pages.
Yes.
Each
Yeah.
of them have their own page under a high school tab, and we've got a Quebedeaux Player of the Week, and we've got a Southern Air Heating and Cooling Cool Play of the Week, and those will be all up on the website tonight. We do round-the-clock updates on those on our website.
And we have a separate cool play of the game from Menard and the Pineville game. And go ahead and roll that, Chuck. Roll that beautiful bean footage. This is the play of Cooper Scott right here. So here's the handoff, and Cooper's going to strip him of the ball, and there he's got it in his hands. There's the one player he had to beat, and he's down into the end zone to basically put the game away right there and answer and kill the mojo that y'all were talking about, and made it 16-7. With just a couple of minutes left.
I've not seen a play like that in who knows when, and then back-to-back weeks involving the same school.
Exactly the exact same thing with a strip and a running strip and return 40 or 60 yards for a touchdown. It is really kind of ironic that both of those things happen with Pineville.
And I said it's Cooper Scott, right?
You did.
Okay, good. Because there's a Cooper Brown that I interviewed at Wildwood, but Cooper Scott.
Big shout out to JG, who's there watching us. He may not be anymore, but yeah.
Hey,
tried to get him to go run a camera for me. No, Dad.
No.
And how about the video on that? That
was
is from
perfect.
our LSUA intern Jeffrey Owens, who really has never shot a football game before. So we've been working with him, and he's been all over it. And what just seeing how bright that is, man, that camera is phenomenal.
It's
I thought the other
camera.
camera was a little better, but that was the color Christmas was.
I just love the way you talk to the interns on the air the whole night.
It's like, all right, raise it up a little bit and widen it out. But you got to do what you got to do, right?
Well, I mean, there's no other way to get in touch with them.
That's right.
So it's like I tell people that you're going to hear me giving instructions.
Right.
Just live with it.
This is
That's
real
right.
world.
So over to the Pineville side of it, Nathan.
Well, on the drive coming back, Pineville's down and got to do something, and they go to the air, which is uncharacteristic for Pineville. Whitty, our left-handed quarterback, which may catch some people off guard, throws nothing but bombs and dinkers and brings the ball downfield. And the cool play of the game for Southern Air is the touchdown strike over to Landon Roberts in the corner. You see him lined up here, and as he calls for the ball, there's a good penetration on the rush on Whitty, but he able, coming back to see the pressure there, and he's able off his back foot to throw it with three defenders around him, knocked off by the corner of the window, but touchdown in the corner, and looks, and the folks went nuts. It was absolute pandemonium in the stands.
Goodness. And did we have the 1, 2, 3 boom?
Well, I wasn't there for that.
There was not.
You didn't do the
Still
you
with
didn't do the
burn ban,
boom?
huh?
There was
band.
no cannon, fire.
So Randy O'Neill does that to the stadium. He'll say 1, 2, 3, and the students will say boom. And I have brought in when with our equipment, I have a boom, a cannon fire, a sound effect that we use for the on air. But you had the headset on. You probably didn't hear Randy.
Didn't hear
do that.
anything.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sure you didn't hear Randy all night.
And look, I have to say that was such
What was that? No. Oh yeah. Is that what I did? Yeah. No, I didn't. I'm sorry about that.
That was such a good play that when we make the call, even if it's not our team, I mean, if it's a great play, we're just calling it like it is, man.
That's
I'm
right.
just a fan of the game.
I heard Randy in Bro Bridge.
Hey, Randy does a phenomenal job.
does.
I
He
have to
does.
say.
He gets some hype.
There is
sure.
no PA announcer
at, Rebels?
in this area with more passion for what he does than Randy James.
No doubt.
Yeah, he does a great job. But I agree, Tom. I mean, you called that. I don't think you're doing audio, Chuck, on the playback. But if you heard Tom, I mean, he was just as fired up for that. And there were a few times you were kind of ragging the Menard guys. Hey, you blew that play, or you whatever. And I'm like,
Sometimes I wonder if I'm gonna get in trouble, from either Chris Gatlin or David and that. But it's I tell them I'm just a fan.
Right.
If I'm saying it, people in the stands are saying it.
you're observing what you're seeing.
Yeah,
and
laying it out there.
Yeah, but that was definitely the Southern Air cool play of the game for Pineville, who does have a coach's show, even though you skipped over me saying that a while ago. But we do have a coach's show.
Absolutely,
on
it's Thursday nights at
It's
6
delicious.
o'clock. It's
That's
1 to
right.
6. It's out at Jim Deggy's
That's
on
right.
Highway 28 East there in Pineville. You
So
guys have
two
been out
pizza
there.
joints.
It's that's the way it goes. And Quebedeaux were twice a week here, and they were.
Oh my
yeah, so
goodness.
don't judge
We're going
me.
to gain 20 pounds a piece by the time the season is over.
It ain't the camera that adds the weight to you. I promise.
It's
I
not the
promise you.
restaurants we're going to.
That's good. That's exactly what it is. So, yes, come out there and join the Pineville crew out there, and you get to see the kitchen cam with Nathan. Nathan does a great job
he's
on
awesome.
the production side of it. I just want to see you guys go back there and flip one of the pizzas.
you don't
for a
want to
while.
see
that's,
us flip
that's
the
what
pizzas.
we – oh, absolutely we
They
do.
moved some equipment around, so I can't really show the guy flipping the pizzas, but they do hand-tossed dough,
Right.
and then they throw it into that 40,000-degree brick oven over there, and it just comes out tasting like
Magic.
like heaven. Yeah. So, but it's a great time. The coach we've had a lot of great support. A lot of the families come out, the players, and as the season goes along, we'll have the cheerleaders one night, we'll have the band one night, we'll have the junior high one night, and it's really been a great thing. And we really appreciate Paul Averett and the folks at Jim Duggies for their support.
Absolutely do. And Tioga, you're on the clock for your Southern Air. What?
Cool play of the game.
See, that's where it all came from. Set it up and let's roll it.
Yeah, it's going to be for the second week in a row. Mr. Max Cadmus with the interception return. Read the quarterback in the. Now, he
Last
wasn't the
week he
cool play of the
wasn't,
game,
yeah.
but I'm talking about the interception return for a
Oh.
touchdown. I knew what I was talking
standing
about. The
here
rest
beside
of you didn't know.
myself, yeah.
No, he's for the second week in a row, he had an interception return. And this we had just marched down the field, scored the opening touchdown. We rushed one. And then the very first pass of the ball game, he read the quarterback's eyes, and you'll see. And if you go back and listen to it, you'll hear the call. I just said, look, he's looking right at the quarterback's head, and Chuck will run this here, and you'll see him break on the receiver here on the bottom of your screen, checking the quarterback's eyes, just picks it and gone
He saw
immediately.
that.
Yes, he read it outright, and that was the mistake the quarterback made. They changed the quarterback right after this, and the other quarterback did the exact same thing, and we ran one back for 57 yards. But that one there was a way to start. Speaking of momentum, Max Cadmus, and he does it seems like every week. I mean, that's I think his third interception or second interception, but that for sure 2 touchdowns, and that just changed everything. And that's how we got up to him on 28-0 in the first couple of minutes. So Max Cadmus is your Southern Air cool play of the game.
All I can think of is you should name the defensive backs Hunger Games.
Hunger Games?
Yeah. Max Cadmus.
Oh, Katniss Everdeen. I got you.
It took me a while. I thought,
Yeah.
well, because of the coaches' shows, they're all at places to eat.
They're
We're hungry.
hungry.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. All right, going to take our final break of the evening. When we come back, we'll look ahead. Chuck, we're going to have our schedules and our standings all from there. We'll do all of that when we come back. Yeah, I sent them to you. You know where they're at. He looks like I get to call stuff out, and who knows if it's going to get. This week we are all, I think, local, except isn't everybody in town? We'll see all of that when we come back. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. You're watching Coach Speak live from Quebedeaux on 446 Sports.
BK Distributors is proud to support high school athletics on 446 Sports. BK is the one-stop shop for trophies, banners, awards, letter jackets, and just about anything award-related. And now, welcome BK Apparel and BK Promotions to the family. For all your spirit apparel needs and anything you need to brand your business. When you think of anything you need with your name on it, think BK. Check them out on Facebook or at bkdistrib.com. BK Distributors, apparel and promotions in Pineville.
Buying car insurance for the first time can be overwhelming. Do you have enough coverage? Are you paying too much? Will someone be there for you when the unexpected happens? I'm Jason Hawk with Farm Bureau Insurance. You may think it's easier online, but why wait? We're here to help you make sure you're covered. When it comes to car insurance, we have the answers, and we may have rates that save you money. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK or online at talktohawk.com and let us help you protect your biggest investments.
Appliance Parts Company in Alexandria has all your major appliance parts needs. We sell parts to all major appliances as well as new appliances, including window units, chest, and upright freezers. Appliance Parts originally opened its doors on Lee Street in 1972, and we're now open at a new location on Memorial Drive to serve you better. Stop by, say hey to our crew, and check out our awesome holiday gifts. Appliance Parts, 2208 Memorial Drive in Alexandria next to Target. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and Saturday from 9 till 12.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Harrell, Certified Residential Appraiser. I am currently a leading provider of appraisal services for mortgage lending, employee relocation, estate planning, and community property settlements. My experience in real estate over the past 13 years and currently serving as president of the Greater Central Louisiana Realtors Association has given me a clear understanding of the real estate world and the ever-changing market we live in today. For any of your valuation needs, give me, Kimberly Harrell, a call.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks right from your phone, day or night, wherever you are or whatever you're doing. Download our mobile app today.
Everybody dancing all night long. Everybody dancing all night long. Everybody dancing all night long. Somebody's dancing to my song.
And we are back to Quebedeaux wrapping things up. Let's take one more. No, we won't take one final break before we go out there. Again, want to give a big shout out to Brett McCormick, who keeps us updated on all of our stats on there. Brett does a wonderful job. Has 1T Photography. If you've not looked around and seen some of the photos that are out there, I encourage you to go and follow him on Facebook and check out what he's got going on. It's ONE, the letter T, Photography. And he'll do that. Also is writing for the Rapides Parish Journal that is out there now. So you can go in there and get articles. But just when we're looking for stats, Brett's right there and is a part of what we do. So
Yeah, go see him if you want your grass cut, too. He'll go. No, I don't know if he does that or not.
He does everything.
He does everything. Indeed, he does. Got a couple of things coming up. We'll let Chuck lead us through that, and we'll discuss what's coming up there. Again, thanks to the folks at Quebedeaux, John Valenzuela, Chef John, and that group for opening up his establishment to us a couple of nights a week and feeding. Had Lieutenant Governor in town. If you're watching this live, Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser was here tonight, so that was a lot to it was enjoyable to come out and see him. It's always a
Good interview, by the way, buddy.
Oh, it was it. It'll be up on our live or on our recorded when we get that updated on there. Our interview with the Lieutenant Governor. So he said maybe he'd come back by and maybe come in the booth with us one day and do a show.
nice.
I said, come on in.
That'd
so,
be great.
Chuck, take us where you want to go, buddy.
Yep. He says
said
right
keep
now,
on talking.
He wants
He
you
says,
to talk.
hey, keep on talking. We'll do that. All right, let's look ahead then at where we are going to be. Billy, you guys and Tioga, we talked about that again.
Yep.
And that will be, tell us where and when.
Be Friday night, 7 p.m. at the reservation. We'll be hosting Coach Bryant Bell, Nathan, and Rich Dupree, of course, going to be coming in and hanging out with us for a little while. It's going to be a fun night here in Tioga, and it's always – I look forward to this game every year. It's always fun playing against Pineville.
I'm hoping that my internet connection still works because last year, they gave me a special port. Port 13 is where I'm supposed to hook up to, so I'm hoping that still works this week.
Good deal.
Not to be confused with the one 2 years ago that they said was up on the roof.
No, that was a whole different experience. I will tell you that was not a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
It was.
I know my back was tired of carrying that table up.
One time, he brought it up. He brings it up more than he brought the table up. I can tell you
right.
that. No, I'm messing with you, man. Dude, thank you for that because you were filling in the gap there. But we've had a couple of experiences. I'm sure you guys could tell some fun experiences on the road when you haven't been treated with the best, opportunities. But I will say that this camaraderie has really helped locally.
We were at Karen Crow in week 1. And we go upstairs and we get all our stuff set out and had to move all the things because their press box is under renovation. So we get up, and this was just week 1, 2 weeks ago. So we get up there into the booth, and all of our stuff is set up, and the radio guy comes up there and he says, Coach Corville says, y'all got to go. You can't stay in the press box. I'm like, what do you mean can't stay in the press box? He said, no. He said, because you guys wouldn't let them in the press box last year, so we're not letting you in the press box. And Ash's press box is tiny, to say the least, but we make room for everyone. We don't put anybody on the roof like y'all do. If you choose to sit outside, you do. But tell them, say, look, we didn't. And it rained that night. So anybody that saw the game know that it was raining that night. And so we tell the guys, look, They were so close to us, you could hear their call over ours. And we pulled up a recording of last year's. It's archived on youtube.com/446sports.
Sweet.
Sorry, yeah, I just roll into it. You did see we made the ESPN game the other day.
I saw that.
All right. So anyway, you pull up the broadcast, and there are guys listening to it. And he says, yeah, that's Ben Love in the background that I hear. I said, doesn't sound like he was outside. So they ended up moving it around, and we were able to stay inside.
Wow.
And then they proceeded to beat us pretty bad. So anyway, but at least we were inside from it. So we will take an opportunity to look at the screen. That is.
That is absolutely beautiful. Folks, take it. You know what? Get your phone out right now. Go ahead and screenshot this.
This is Chalk Talk is what this is. That's a little chalkboard, and we go through there. And no, that's a graphic that he does.
I just want to take one little exception to that. In that,
I think it looks good. Just
Menard
the way it is.
should be right underneath Tioga because of the head-to-head. The fact that Menard has beaten Pineville, they're both 1-1, but we have the head-to-head, so we should be second.
Do you understand that we are a family of networks here, and that you're not competing against them? We're all under one umbrella. See, your shirt says 446,
I love the way that
and
looks.
his shirt says 446.
I love the way that looks.
We're all under one umbrella, and that umbrella is Tioga High School at the top.
and Menard should be
and
second.
y'all are underneath that.
So would Ash be the handle? Is that what we are?
Look, I'm
teapot.
talking all this smack while I can, because I promise you, as much as we're good, the schedule does get tougher as the season progresses. But we had a huge win.
It
this
would
week.
have to because the junior high teams can't play anymore.
Hey, that Broke Ridge team made it to the third round of the playoffs, buddy.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
so we heard where Billy's playing. Where's Pineville?
Right. That's right. Pineville will make the long trek over to the reservation here, just
Cross
up
the
the
railroad
road
tracks.
from where we're at here. But you look at it, Tioga out to a 2-0 start. Congratulations to those guys. Pineville, Buckeye, Menard, all sitting there at 1-1, and Ash down at the bottom of it. Next slide, please. We'll move on.
Well, that was results. That was results.
Buckeye
Okay.
High School will be at home. And they're going to be hosting Pine Prairie this week.
Yep.
Yes,
I know
we
we've
have
got
that
the
on our
scores from
schedules.
that.
We also have that on our schedules too. So we've got that on the edition of the chalkboard too. We'll see what Chuck brings up next. There you go. Upcoming
There we
games.
are.
Tioga is at Pineville, or Pineville's at Tioga. That's right. Their versus. You see it on there. Pineville, of course. We told you it's Tioga. Buckeye is hosting Pine Prairie. Holy Savior Menard is hosting St. Mary's, and Ash welcomes the Chiefs and Jess Curtis and that group down 49 into Butch Stoker Stadium. The first game
that's gonna be
on the brand new
exciting, buddy.
turf. That's right. And he did not, Coach Bachman did not go with my suggestion. It is not all purple. It's not. The field is actually green. The end zones are purple. But these kids are excited to get out there and play on that turf.
And I could speak, we've had turf now for a few years. It's phenomenal because you never have to really worry about rainouts. I mean, aside from lightning or anything, it's just great. It does, and then you're able to use it for other functions as well. And it's really, really. I am super excited for you guys to have that.
So.
Yes,
Yeah,
all the lines are
that's
straight.
right.
I asked Coach Bachman, and I asked him. I was intent. We were sitting there on the show last Thursday night, and I said, Coach, I said, there's so much camaraderie through the years on Thursday nights when you guys go out and paint the fields. Are you going to miss painting the field? He said, absolutely not. He said, not in the slightest. So yes, sir.
You're talking about turf, and
Yes.
and
Turf.
I just want to say, throw something in. And I kind of talked about it. I think it was Friday night's game when we were at Pineville. Just how nice Pineville's field looks, and of course with the new LED lights that they have, it just a phenomenal view, from the press box. But I have to give a shout out to Dennis Stewart, the principal at Peabody, and everybody over at Peabody. Dennis was Chase's 8th grade science teacher at Pineville Junior High, and he's just a phenomenal person. He's doing a great job over at Peabody. But that field, all I've seen is the Facebook photos that Dennis is putting out up there, on the Facebook posts. But it just looks phenomenal what they had, and I think this past Friday was their first time to be able to play on it.
Yeah, it looks great.
Mistaken.
I've driven by it and got out and looked at it. It looked great. I'm telling you, it's nice to see the local, And of course, Tioga, not again.
Kind of led the way.
Well, yeah, but next year we're getting brand new. We're replacing the turf with
Shows
even
you
better
how
turf.
far. Yeah, they're getting new
The
fresh
community,
turf.
the community is phenomenal all over Central Louisiana.
Maybe they'll donate the old turf to Menard.
You can yeah, well, we're getting look. We had you could listen on Tuesday nights with the reservation roundup with Coach Kevin Cook. We talked about this last week. We've got a jumbotron coming for next season.
Oh wow!
And then of course the turf, and then we're going to have a new field house within the next 3 years. And so and that's just the community coming in and helping out. And we've been very blessed at Ward 10 community. Has been lights out with Tioga. Our baseball field is phenomenal, just like Menard's is. Our softball fields are turf, and it's just all because of the people of Central Louisiana that come in together and really help out. And we're not afraid. I know Coach Kevin Cook and them. They let other places use our field, for the youth and all that kind of stuff. And it helps the entire community.
Indeed, it does, and there are a lot of great things that are going on in this area. The community is the reason that we're doing what we're doing and able to bring you the football that we do. Excited to do that. Had the folks from St. Mary's, as a matter of fact, came over and talked to Tom and said, hey, we'd like to maybe explore being a part of 446 and get under that umbrella
awesome.
too. And
So
Tom can go up there as
He's
well.
got 15 minutes on Thursday.
446 might be expanding into Natchez.
I like it.
Well, we're certainly following the guidance of the way this was all founded and letting the Lord guide our steps with it, and we're excited that the community has gotten behind it as much as they have. Guys, closing thoughts before we take our final. No, I'm still not doing that. We'll start
I was
there.
really believing you.
I know you were. We'll start with Nathan.
Well, I was thinking closing thoughts for sure. This has been a fun ride for Rich and myself, and Mayor Dupree, who's not able to be here tonight. He is actually attending a required function in his role as mayor down in New Orleans, some mandatory training and education. What do they call that?
Retirement.
Yeah, he's on the retirement board, but there's a certain kind of education they have to do.
Continuing
education.
Something like that.
Something like that. That's what we're going with
that
tonight
sounds
as
good.
the
So-
show wraps up. as we
As we
I go
continue
to
to
my
go.
seat, right? So but I want to thank you guys for welcoming us. It's our first year to be a part of the 446 family. Rich and I have been doing sports broadcasting for 25 plus years, and enjoy this community of but the 446 Sports family has certainly been a welcoming community, and we love the camaraderie. And we're looking forward to the Friday night, hopefully bringing home the win for Pineville, and continuing throughout the rest of the season, cheering on each other when we don't play each other.
The tussle in Tioga. Is that what they're going? Is that that's probably it hadn't that hasn't caught on just quite
Not
quite
bad,
yet.
though. Not bad.
You
Billy?
just started it.
Yeah. Again, same thing. We're looking forward to Friday night. It's always a fun matchup playing against Pineville. Super, of course. I came in, I left a year and came back while being a part of 446. Loved this. Of course, Doug does a phenomenal job with that every aspect of it. Everything
y'all
is
have
done.
the job. We're not.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Billy.
Melissa texted me, told me to say this.
I got grief from Tom yesterday over this same thing.
But we appreciate all that he does because everything's done with a purpose. A lot of people that at home don't realize that. It's one. Is that an area code? No, there's a reason for what the name is, and of course, in everything that he does, he does a phenomenal job. And it's fun calling all types of games from football. We've called a baseball game.
Gosh.
We've called tons of softball games.
Yeah.
We've called probably 12 basketball games in a row on a Saturday
In a
before.
row.
And in McNeese, and it's been super fun since the beginning, and I appreciate everybody that watches. Do not forget to please, it doesn't cost you a penny. Go on Facebook and go on YouTube and just hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps us reach more people here at 446 Sports.
Indeed, in week one, and before we get to Tom, in week one, we were saying, look, we needed another 150 to get to that 1,000 subscribers mark. We're now a little over 1,100 on there, so we've jumped over there, and it's because you guys are going there. Hit that notification button, and you'll know all 10 times a week that we go live on YouTube.com/446 Sports. Finish us out there, Tom, on the Menard side.
I was like, Billy, you got a little something.
It's okay. Right there. It's that 2-0, baby. 2-0.
That's right.
Yeah, so just thoughts. The Menard community has been great to us. and accepting us in. Again, with 446, we've been able to take it on to call some basketball games with you and Chuck, and then and we started softball games last year, and we called a soccer game, and I'm actually going to be working in possibly doing a robotics tournament. They or whatever they have, a meet, whatever they call it, but they have a robotics team.
Is that before or after the bowling?
What
is it? What do you get?
It's going to be interesting to see which one comes first. But I mean, these are things that we want to grow into.
Yeah.
Can they get the robots
to bowl?
Yes,
that would be great, wouldn't it?
Bowling robots.
But to think about it, to have us, we're now members of the Louisiana Sports Writers Association.
That's correct.
We actually sent in clips of our play-by-plays.
We lost.
And some of our stories. We didn't win.
We lost.
But hey, we're putting ourselves out there, right? But at the same time, we've got the opportunity to help the community, and we just ask for the community. First of all, thank you for tuning in. I mean, last year we would finish, and you kind of go on there and look at it, and you'd be at 400 or 500 views, and maybe growing a little bit. And I was really excited about that. Now we're hitting over 1,000, 1,100, 1,700, 1,800 views.
That's awesome.
And so people are starting to recognize us and starting to tune in, and we can't be more grateful to the community for doing so. We ask too, just give us a call if you have a business and want to become a sponsor to help us continue to do this. Call us. We'd love to have you join our team, and you'll see the commercials that run, or we can have billboards and talk about it like we're doing with polos and plaids and the shirts that Michelle LaCour did for us. But the Menard community has been so accepting for me. This is my 9th year, I believe, as the voice of the Eagles, going back to the radio days.
Right.
Again, I think I lose track of time, but I've got to be close to about 20 years or so doing radio. I mean, just the number of years that we have amongst us in doing not just the radio call, but in media. I mean, I go back 27 years, or almost 30 years on KLAX and then KALB. So it's just been a blast getting to know, you guys. Chuck, I didn't even know who Chuck was till we started with 446 Sports. But
I didn't know who Chuck was till I met him.
Yeah. Would run into Brett, covering games when he was at the Town Talk. And so, yeah, it's just a great community and wonderful. And we look forward to Menard holding their own against St. Mary's. And I'm excited about what Menard's bringing to the table. They have a lot of fight in them. They're playing every down, and they're going to win, and they're gonna surprise some teams this year.
Indeed they are. Thank you, sir. And looking forward to Buckeye as well, getting out there and getting back. Coach Ben McLaughlin and the great job that he does with
coach.
He is wonderful. Of course, they're talking about the things that we do. We are the home of the ASIL State Championships. That's the Association of Christian Educators of Louisiana, the homeschool league that's in here. They do 9 championships in the central Louisiana area, and we cover all. We're the exclusive home for their championships.
Not to cut you off, but do you remember when we first started, you and I called 7- and 8-year-old flag football? We called like 10 games in that day. That was some fun
Joe,
times.
and let me mention, it's not just homeschoolers; it's Christian educators,
That's
which
right.
means they have private schools.
That's correct.
And so it's a lot of even organized schools that wouldn't fit under the LHSAA umbrella.
That's right.
So yeah, it's a phenomenal organization, and I know you guys are. Well, I'm proud to be a part of it. I did volleyball and soccer for them, and
have seen some things in that from leaking roofs and all of those things. We had a rain delay on an indoor event, so I've seen a lot of it. Of course, check out John Marquese's article. That's on our website. You can see that. We need to get Brett to start writing an article for us once a week. I don't know if Brett's able to do that or if he's contracted. There's Brett. Say
hi, Brett.
Wave to your folks there. See?
We're going to have some articles on LSU's historic game last night against
LSU Grambling. Yeah, went down and saw that.
We say historic. It's not necessarily the 5 touchdowns in the score, but
That's
just
right.
the actual
Don't
game.
give it away. They've got to go and read it. Also, we're going to have a documentary / article type of deal coming up on Dan Bornay. And if you don't know who Dan Bornay is, just go sit in Tiger Stadium one night and listen to him ask about the chance of rain, and everyone say never, and that's it. He is the voice in Tiger Stadium. And so we got to sit down with him in the press box the last couple of years and are excited visiting with him again yesterday, Saturday, as a matter of fact, and set that up. So we're excited. A lot of big things on the horizon for us here at 446 Sports, but it's all because of you guys. We couldn't do a bit of it without you. That's going to wrap us up for tonight. My man Chuck Perkins over there on production. Brett, who's in the house doing all of the stats. Brett, couldn't do a bit of it without you, my friend. For Nathan and Rich, who is off taking care of all of his mayoral duties, we appreciate what he's doing over there. Billy and Chuck, so Chuck got thanked twice.
John Wolf. What a guy to come into the booth and replacing David. Over 20 years of officiating football games.
Has he complained about the officials yet? That's what I want to know.
He will never complain about the officials because he's been on that other end. But what insight John brings to our program every Friday night. I mean, he's calling the calls and what it is and explaining it, for everybody. And he's on top of all the new rules.
So there's never that opportunity where somebody's at home going, no, that's not an automatic first down. They only have 3 automatic first downs, and it involves roughing. So, no, it's not. It's not just because it's pass interference. It's not.
It's not the NFL. It's not the NFL.
And you can't run back a blocked extra point, guys.
That's right.
Can you?
That's right.
There's things. So John never has that problem, does he?
No, he doesn't. He corrects me.
That's right. Attaboy, John. Thank you for that on there. So, he's in the booth. You got your 2 interns. Grateful for those. I've got a brand new crew with me that travels the road. Brother-in-law Brett Stallsby runs the camera. No, Chuck doesn't go to the games. Chuck goes into the Tiger crew, but he's there on Thursday nights with us, and he's certainly here tonight. Roger Walker, who's the best cameraman in the business without a doubt, and my man Nick Magnano has joined me in the booth and adds a lot of insight to what we do. Notices things that, quite frankly, I didn't even think to notice. So it makes all of this work the way that it does, but could not do it without Chuck. What do you?
Nick texted me earlier. That's why I had to turn the helmet out.
He's even monitoring that. Way to go, Nick. Joined us this year, and kids still hadn't recorded an out, Nick, after you announced or jinxed it, but that's another story for another day.
That's from Wolf.
And John, that's great. Look, you guys, some of the things, we got to wrap this up. Could not do it without our Lord and Savior making everything possible for it, for that's what we do in all of this. Unsure of where we get our name 446 Sports from? Hop over to our website, look it up. Ephesians 4, verse 4 through 6. I challenge you. That's your homework. Go out and look at that. For all of the guys that make all of this work, I am Doug Gann. God bless you all, and good night.